Marlboro, the iconic brand known for its rugged cowboy imagery, revolutionized the tobacco industry and redefined the smoking experience for millions. In the 1950s, Marlboro transformed a woman's cigarette to a symbol of masculinity, becoming the best-selling cigarette in the world. The company's clever marketing strategies, such as the famous Marlboro Man campaign, changed the perception of smoking and created a culture of rebellion and freedom. Marlboro's influence in the industry continues to this day, setting the standard for advertising and branding in the world of tobacco. Marlboro is the clear leader in the cigarette market, and its brand value is valued at an astonishing $35.5 billion, a significant amount more than its nearest competitor. Join us as we delve into the fascinating history of Marlboro and how it forever changed the face of the tobacco industry. The rise of Marlboro, a luxury cigarette brand. Marlboro, a cigarette brand known for its luxury appeal, has a rich history dating back to 1908 when it was registered in the United States. However, it wasn't until 1923 that the brand began marketing cigarettes under the Marlboro name. In 1924, Marlboro introduced filtered cigarettes to set themselves apart from other cigarette brands and appeal to women. The marketing shift. In the 1920s, Congress proposed a bill that would ban women from smoking in public. Women were forced to smoke in their homes, and if caught smoking in public, they would be arrested and even sentenced to jail time. This legislation gave Marlboro the perfect marketing opportunity. The brand shifted its narrative and depicted smoking as glamorous rather than unladylike. The ads were primarily based on how ladylike the filter was in Marlboro cigarettes, and the tobacco formula used appealed to women as it was far less harsh on the throat than other brands. However, Marlboro still failed to grow its brand despite the brilliant marketing idea. At the time, there was an attitude that the only people who smoked filtered cigarettes were women, so no man dared to touch Marlboro. But a substantial cultural shift was about to occur. The health risks and men's consideration. In the 1950s, studies started to arise concerning the health risks of cigarettes. Smoking was still at an all-time high, but men became more concerned about their health. They were now considering smoking filtered cigarettes because they were considered safer than those without. Men at the time said while they would consider switching to a filtered cigarette, they were concerned about being seen smoking a cigarette marketed to women. This was Marlboro's next problem. The birth of the Marlboro Man. Marlboro introduced filtered cigarettes as a safer option, but the challenge was to promote their use among men. To overcome this, Marlboro launched one of the first renowned advertising campaigns of all time. By repositioning the filtered cigarette as the Marlboro Man, a strong and confident figure who smoked filtered cigarettes without any hesitance, Marlboro was able to change public perception about their product. The marketing campaign was an enormous success, and Marlboro quickly became the top-selling cigarette brand in the United States. During the 1950s, Marlboro established itself as a unique and successful brand through their marketing efforts, with the Marlboro Man becoming the iconic symbol of the company. This advertising campaign revolutionized the way the cigarette industry marketed their products. Lifestyle advertising, a different approach. In the 1950s, most filtered cigarette advertising focused on making claims about the technology behind the filter and easing fears about the harmful effects of smoking. However, Marlboro decided to try a different approach and experiment with lifestyle advertising. Lifestyle advertising connects with the viewer emotionally and focuses on feelings, values, or status symbols. It doesn't sell the product, but rather awakens emotions and creates connections with the product being sold. The Marlboro Man, more than just a mascot. The goal of the Marlboro Man was to show that even the most rugged macho man could smoke filtered cigarettes. The ads featured mainly cowboys smoking Marlboros in wild terrain and were mainly print ads, but later became televised as well. The Marlboro Man was not just a mascot, but a portrait of physical health and strength, despite what research suggested about smoking and lung cancer. He conveyed the message that Marlboro smokers were not only rugged and masculine, but also in control of their bodies. Cowboys were huge in pop culture at the time, and Western TV shows like Gunsmoke and Maverick were all the rage. Americans saw cowboys as heroes, and the Marlboro Man fit that role perfectly. He became not just a product mascot, but an American hero. Unstoppable success. The success of the Marlboro Man campaign was immediate. Within a year, Marlboro's market share rose from less than 1% to the fourth best-selling cigarette brand. Within 4 years after the campaign, it became the #1 best-selling cigarette in the world. Marlboro was an unstoppable force after the Marlboro Man. The end of an era. However, the force of the Marlboro Man came to an abrupt end with a significant change in United States law. Due to its success, the Marlboro Man remains a marketing phenomenon and a symbol of the power of lifestyle advertising. In the 1960s, as more studies emerged regarding the hazardous effects of cigarette smoking on people's health, the FTC took action against advertisers who failed to warn the public of these health hazards. As a result of these studies, new legislation was signed in 1969 requiring cigarette companies to put warning labels on cigarette boxes. Ban on cigarette ads and decline in sales. However, things only got worse for Marlboro. On April 1, 1970, President Richard Nixon signed legislation officially banning cigarette ads on television and radio. The ban took effect at midnight on January 2, 1971, effectively banning television and print ads of the Marlboro Man from that day on. The ban on cigarette ads had a significant impact on Marlboro's sales, which plummeted along with every other cigarette brand. Marlboro F1 connection. Apart from that, Marlboro's cigarettes are widely known for their iconic connection to Formula One. Their deals with McLaren and Ferrari are among the most iconic partnerships in sports history. The history of Marlboro and F1 starts in the 1960s, when Formula One officially allowed teams to create partnerships with brands. This was a massive deal, as F1 was, and still is, a very expensive sport that requires millions of dollars to compete at the top level. Marlboro's first sponsorship with British Racing Motors BRM. Marlboro sprang at the opportunity and quickly locked in their first official F1 sponsorship in 1971 with British Racing Motors. Marlboro enjoyed its partnership with BRM for 2 years. The iconic partnership with McLaren. It would be in 1974 that Marlboro established its first of 2 iconic sponsorships in F1 history, McLaren. The partnership between McLaren and Marlboro lasted between 74 and 96, a staggering 23 years. During these 2 decades, McLaren was a dominating force in the sport thanks to Marlboro's funding. The iconic red and white design on their cars made Marlboro synonymous with McLaren. The end of Marlboro-McLaren partnership and the start of Marlboro-Ferrari partnership. However, as a surprise to many, Marlboro would end their partnership with McLaren at the end of the '96 season. The end of this partnership removed Marlboro's iconic red and white design from McLaren's livery. In the same year, Marlboro decided to go all in with a new team, which would forever go down as one of, if not the most iconic partnership in all of F1 history, Ferrari. Marlboro-Ferrari, an unstoppable force. Marlboro and Ferrari have a long-standing relationship. The two companies have been connected since '73, with Marlboro serving as a minor sponsor, appearing on the drivers' helmets and suits. But in '93, things changed. Marlboro stepped up to become the main sponsor, and it was a match made in motorsports heaven. The partnership was so successful that Marlboro became the title sponsor in '97. The influx of resources, including an estimated $160 million a year in top-notch managers for Marlboro, fueled Ferrari's dominance in the late '90s through early 2000s. Conclusion. In conclusion, Marlboro's impact on the tobacco industry is undeniable. With their impressive growth and sales and a revolutionary marketing strategy, Marlboro and Marlboro Man have secured their place as one of the greatest marketing success stories of all time. Marlboro's influence in the tobacco industry and beyond continues to be felt today, solidifying its legacy as a true game changer in the world of business and marketing. That's all for this video. To ensure you don't miss any of our new videos, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Until next time, take care, and thanks for watching.